coming off yet another successful weekend as the Big Ten is just ahead. The Iowa Hawkeyes coming to Alexander Field. I'm Kyle Charters with Ben Turner and the head coach of the Purdue baseball team, Greg Goff. It was an exciting weekend, another one, taking 2 of the 4 games against Samford. Probably 2 very evenly matched teams, and the results on the field really bared that out.
We did, Kyle. I knew going into the weekend with Samford that it'd be a really good opportunity for us to compete against a high-level team that's been in the postseason for the last couple of years. They normally win their league, and I thought our guys really showed up. And every game, you felt like could have went either way, and so we'd love to go 3-1, 4-0, but we went 2-2, and I thought we had some really high moments. Along with the Northern Illinois game earlier in the week. So going 3-2 in another week's a positive step forward for us.
Yeah, he scored 71 runs combined over the 5 games. Really put some runs up on the board in the games, combined from the both teams. But the point being, you were able to put a lot of runs on the board. The other team was too at times. Some of that was because of the conditions out there at Alexander with the wind blowing out, but your team was able to stick with it again throughout the last week, and especially in that game on Saturday night, be able to come back and get a victory. You nearly do that then, and the finale on Sunday. It just made for an exciting baseball weekend.
It really was. I thought our crowds were good. It was windy, and a lot of times balls that normally wouldn't get out of Alexander were getting out. And so. You just never know. There's never a lead that's too good at a point when you're playing in such a crazy day. But again, I can't say enough about our players and how they continue to pull for one another. We gave up 8 runs in that game on Saturday. Whenever you give up an 8 spot, you normally get beat. But our guys, we're down by 3 runs with 9 outs to play, and so our guys never panic. They just never panic. They just keep playing the same way, and just keep playing hard. And we came back and answered and scored 1 there in the 7th, and ended up catching them and taking the lead. And just really proud for those guys. And on Sunday, again we got to a lead, then we lose the lead, and again our guys just continue to put good at bats together. And we had Cal Melvin at the plate. Nobody that's had any more confidence in him than our team and myself. And when he hit that ball, we thought that thing was going to get on out of there. So, again, just a very resilient group of guys that are continuing to improve each week.
Take us through the 10th inning Saturday night a little bit. The walk-off celebration and the RBI from Gill will get in the spotlight. But a big hit-and-run double with 2 of your veterans up there, Mike Bolton Jr. at the plate and Joe Stevens on the bases. I think that's probably a scenario you'd be pretty comfortable with, and obviously you put it in motion in that scenario to make something happen.
Well, we just, it was just great. Joe was really hot this weekend and got the single, and so, Mike had not had some good at-bats earlier or whatever, so a lot of times when guys are maybe not swinging as well, you want to put some things in action just to make them swing. And so once we got to the 1-1 count or whatever, we just put the hit and run on, and Mike just did a phenomenal job of, staying with it because it was a breaking ball away, and he stayed on that breaking ball and did exactly what he was supposed to do. And
ultimately, the guy that we'll talk to during the player spotlight, Gill, comes up with a big hit for you. That's a situation where you just need a guy in those conditions to get the ball in the air to be able to win it. And it's nice to be able to execute that.
It really is, and we work on situational hitting all the time, and Ty and I had a conversation right before the at-bat and just said, hey, this guy's going to try to get ahead with a breaking ball. And so, man, he did a phenomenal job of not only getting the pitch that we were looking for, but, making sure it was elevated to where he could hit it to center field. And I just thought he had just a quiet approach where he didn't try to do too much. With the game on the line, a lot of guys try to hit one out of there and get big and roll it over to a 4-6-3 double play. I just thought it was a lot of calmness in the box, and just really proud of him.
We mentioned all the runs that were produced this week at Alexander, but he had some good pitching performances too. The display that Luke Wagner put on in the early game on Saturday was just excellent. His run now of 22 straight innings without giving up an earned run, is one of the more impressive ones by a pitcher I think we have had in a number of years. Cole Van Assen has been good with a couple of outings, 6 innings pitched, a run. Davis Pratt, Jackson Danley out of the bullpen. So, in difficult conditions, you had some guys really step up into big spots for you.
They really did, Kyle. I was really, really pleased. I thought Davis Pratt was as good as I've seen him, man. I was just so excited for him to get out there and really do what we needed him to do and give us a shot to win there. Again, seeing Griffin Loman back on the mound Sunday and C.J. Backer on the mound. I mean, those guys have been pitchers for us that have pitched meaningful innings in conference play are just starting to get back healthy. So it's going to Avery Cook performance. I mean, you can just continue to do it. But when you play those 4 games and you're playing against really good competition and the wind's blowing out, like there's going to be some things go on that normally wouldn't in a 3-game series. So just feel like we're in a really good spot. I think Coach Newman did a really good job. I thought him and Wags were on the same page in that game on Saturday. Man, he just absolutely dominated a really good hitting team with the wind blowing out that day. So, I'm pretty pleased with those guys.
You touched on it briefly, but I would highlight Joe Stevens as the team MVP for the week.
No doubt.
He did a little bit of everything, whether it was on the bases, getting free passes, on the defense at third base. I mean, we knew he was good, but it was elite this weekend.
Yeah.
It was, Ben. I mean, he is really developing into a really good player, and just so proud of him. The way he's come back, the way he worked this summer. He had some knee issues last year, kind of slowed him down a little bit, and he's now progressed through all those things and working hard in the weight room, and just phenomenal at third base. I mean, the one play he made down the line there, we had to backhand the ball and end up throwing that dude out at first base. Was just, if that ball gets down the line at second and third, and a whole different ball game. And so just can't say enough about Joe and what he's doing, not only defense but offense. I mean, all around. You're right. I mean, the MVP definitely for the last 10 days or so. He's been really, really good.
Left-handed bats were a big part of the weekend, too, as much as that we saw Sanford walk the intentional run on base in the ninth inning Sunday because they didn't want to face Aaron Dalney as a left-handed hitter, having already seen him hit one over the bullpen earlier in the weekend.
Oh, the soccer field, maybe. Maybe on the soccer field.
That's his next goal, I suppose, is to hit the Folk Field Stadium building, which, the way the wind was going, you never know. Ty Gill hits 2 home runs. Cam Gasser, that 3-run homer in the ninth inning, sets the stage for all the wildness that we saw.
Right.
So left-handed bats, they can be key, especially when the conditions were the way they were over the latter half of the series.
There's no doubt, just right field was playing so small, and so, but I didn't feel like, I'd be honest with you, I didn't feel like any of those swings and any of those home runs were cheap. Like, I think those balls would have got out of anywhere at any time, to be honest with you. I thought they got the barrel out. I thought they were down and through that baseball, and I thought they backspun those balls. And so, really proud of how those guys have swung it. Even Gasser's getting into the home run swing of things.
He's had so many backside 2-strike singles.
Yes.
Hey, we'll take one of those.
Yeah, that
too.
was kind of awesome to see. But again, it's just somebody different all the time. I mean, we've got a consistent lineup. We have guys that are not starting that are really good players, and I tell you, I lose a lot of sleep over who we get in there and who's playing what, because, I mean, we've got, I feel like, 13, 14 players that are trying to vie for those 9 spots, and it's tough. It's tough on Coach Goff, I can tell you that.
I will tell you one thing for sure. There is at least one home run where there was no doubt about it at all, and that was Keenan Spence's home run into left field that traveled, 439 feet and nearly hit a car going by on Cherry Lane there. That thing was a massive home run. His next at bat, he hit the ball, I think, as high as he did long.
Yeah.
It was an out, but he hit it about a mile high. But, man, he's a guy, when he gets a hold of one, it can go a really long way, and it certainly did on that at bat.
No doubt, and that's the thing that we've kind of transitioned to, having more, strength and more power in the lineup. We felt like we needed to do that. I mean, I think my first year we hit 15 home runs for the season. And so, I mean, we're almost at 30 or so. So that is definitely a thing that we've tried to continue to improve on, and these guys have did a really good job. I think you can see our team is more physical, and you got guys in the lineup to change the game with one swing. And I mean, how many times this weekend? I think twice this weekend we went back-to-back home runs. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Cooper Kornblum had a good weekend, especially Friday and Saturday. I mean, a guy who, he gets on base. Another one. You've got a few of these guys who can make some things happen.
Yes, no doubt. He's been solid. Cam Gasser's been really good for us. All the way through the lineup. And again, I just I try to encourage our players and team, be prepared, be prepared for a Cam Melvin moment to where the game's on the line and you're in there as a pinch hitter and you got a chance to win the game. The game will always reveal the hard work that you put in. And we just I just can't say enough about how great of a group that we have and the character of these guys and the hard work that they do every day.
You've got UIC in the midweek and then the start of Big Ten play with Iowa coming to town, a good Hawkeye team. You start off really difficult, I think, in the Big Ten this year with Iowa and then a couple road trips to Ohio State and Rutgers. But do you feel like your team has done what it needed to do through this non-conference portion of the schedule, pre-conference portion of the schedule to get itself ready for a Big Ten play?
I do, Kyle. I really do. We were talking in our coaches meeting this morning about it, and out of the 21 games that we played, I think probably the Sunday game, the game on Sunday is probably the only game we felt like boy, if we had it back, we probably should have turned that one around and be 16-5 instead of 15-6. But I mean, after 21 games, you go on the road for the first 12 games and where we're at, I felt really good about it, and I still, again, Breck Noah hadn't even been in the lineup yet, Backer and Lohman and some of those guys. I still think this team is continuing to improve as we go through this year, and excited to have an opportunity to play UIC tomorrow, and then the Hawkeyes, which are preseason pick to win the league.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with Ty Gill. We'll do that in a moment. Thanks, Greg Goff, as always, for joining us on This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by the Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Tee up for excitement at Ackerman Allen Course, Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. We're officially open for the season. Hear your tee time now at PurdueGolf.com. Junior second baseman Ty Gill with us on This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Ty, it was a great weekend. 7 RBI for you as your team took 2 of 4 against Sanford. The big one for you personally had to be the game on Saturday night. Take us through the at-bat that ultimately drove home the walk-off winning run for you guys.
Yeah, so I was walking up there, and I saw that Keen Spence got the intentional walk, and Coach Goff stopped the game, pulled me over, and told me that just see something elevated. I mean, we work on this stuff every day.
Yeah.
So it kind of calmed me down a little bit, and then just to kind of dial me and see basically how it is at practice. So got the elevated breaking ball and just beat the center fielder, just like we talked about, and it was a pretty amazing moment. Looking at the team and just seeing everybody come after me at first base was pretty amazing.
I mean, those are the kind of things you sort of live for,
Yeah.
right, when you're growing up playing baseball, and I imagine you've had some opportunities like that in your career before that. Just, what's that moment like? I mean, you try to stay in the moment as much as possible and not get too excited or anything like that, knowing you have to execute?
Yeah, the pressure definitely kicks in as you're walking up to the plate, but once you're in the circle or in the box, everything just kind of falls away, and it's just you versus the pitcher, and you just gotta look at your team and know you gotta get a job done, and that's kind of what was going through my mind. And yeah.
The first pitch attack approach that you went with maybe eliminates some of the pressure, because maybe the longer the at bat goes, the trickier it's going to be. Maybe he gets more outs and that kind of thing. You knew the pitch you were looking for, you saw it, you went after it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree that the more pressure sinks in deeper in the at bat. But you just go up there with a good approach, and I got lucky, got the pitch I was looking for. So
Home run in back-to-back days, both Saturday and Sunday, so you showed off some of that pop. Remember back to your first collegiate at bat in Sugar Land 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Home run in that one, so that was cool. That we've come full circle now. Some home runs at Alexander. You think about when guys look at you, or maybe Mike Bolton Jr., 2 of our fastest runners, that you wouldn't think they're home run hitters, but both of you guys don't sleep on you when it comes to the pop a little bit. That has to feel good to know that you can take one out of Alexander too.
Yeah, that's true. It's good having guys like Mike, me, even Gasser showed it off a little bit this year. Just finding pitches to hit, having good approaches like I was talking about. But me, Mike, Gasser, none of us even looked to hit home runs. We all looked just backside, and every once in a while they'll throw you a pitch in and you get one out. So,
What's the comfort level like at Alexander these days? I mean, you guys are in the midst of a 13-game homestand. You're 7-2 through the first 9 games. We've seen a little bit different conditions, I think,
Yeah.
in each one of those weekends, from the wind blowing into left field to the wind blowing into the corner to blowing straight out, as it was oftentimes this last weekend. But to be able to have sustained success through all of that has to make you guys feel pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody, like Coach said, everybody's playing really consistently right now, and everybody stays a pretty normal and neutral mindset, and we just go out there every day and play baseball and have fun, and everybody gets that aspect, and yeah, we're pretty comfortable right now, and we're just looking to get another win every single day.
You had a lot of success last season as a pinch hitter, sort of foreshadowing, I guess, your breakout a little bit this year. We came into this season not knowing exactly who was going to fit where in the middle infield, and it seems like, at least for now, you guys have settled with you and Cam Gasser there as the 2 primary guys. What was that competition like, and how much benefit do you feel like it gave you that you got those at-bats last year in some pretty critical spots?
Yeah, last year was great, getting me on the field a little bit, giving me some more at-bats. I felt a lot more comfortable playing at a college level. But this fall was definitely really competitive with a lot of guys. We have a lot of good infielders, a lot of good players, a lot of guys that can hit, so it was definitely tough. A lot of guys that make you better every day, too. Go out there and you practice with these guys, you're having fun, and everybody's competing. So it makes you better, and it makes the team better for sure.
We know you can play shortstop if needed as well. You've been at second, obviously, this year. Cam Gasser settled in at shortstop. How's been that camaraderie and comfort level turning to and working together? I mean, the second base shortstop dynamics are always so very important to the defensive success.
Yeah. So since Gasser transferred in, he's from Michigan last year. We'd known each other through high school, but we really clicked since day one and since he got on campus. I went over to hang out with him since, like, the first day he got here, and ever since then, like, the chemistry's been there. And I think that's with Tommy and Chase, Keenan, and all the guys in the infield. Like, we all this great chemistry, and it just makes everybody better, like I was saying. And having Gasser at shortstop or wherever is just great, and it's fun to play with him. He's a good player.
We had him on a couple weeks ago. He's in this hot start that he's been in, a long hit streak and on-base streak. He represents, as well as you do, the in-state guys. We got guys from Australia, Vancouver Island, all over the country, which is a great part of it. But the in-state guys are important too. Representing Indiana and the state of Indiana and Purdue, the region especially. You guys. It feels like there's always a rallying cry about the region guys, and we've had a lot of them over the years. So you, Dorn, Iwinski. Is that something that you guys take pride in? Am I making too much of it? And how familiar were you with those 2 pitchers before you became teammates?
Yeah, so I've been playing with Carter Dorn since 12 years old. I knew Ski since high school, but I definitely think being an Indiana native you take a lot of pride in that, and I think all of us do that are from Indiana. Like, even Keenan Taylor, his walkout song is just great.
Yes.
Fires all the Indiana guys up and probably the people in the crowd. But yeah, we definitely take a lot of pride in being from Indiana and being from the region and being a Boilermaker. So
for those that have not already noticed, Tom Petty's "The Last Dance with Mary Jane" that has the Indiana boys on the Indiana Nights line in that song, even though Petty was from Gainesville, Florida. So yeah, a shout out to that. That was a good pick by Keenan.
yeah.
I like that we have music trivia on the show today as well. Conference play here also this week. Ty, just Iowa coming to town this weekend and a couple of road trips after that. How prepared do you guys feel for the start of this conference and trying to make a run this year at getting to the tournament, maybe more than that?
Yeah, we feel very prepared. I think we, as a team, we like to take a week at a time, start 0-0 every week. So I think right now we're just looking forward to tomorrow and UIC, and then after UIC, then we'll think about Friday night. And I think we, as a team, we're growing, and I think we have a lot of potential that we still haven't shown off, and I think we'll be pretty stacked up against these Iowa Hawkeyes come this Friday night.
Ty, would like to close out the player segment with what we call personal preferences. Always say there are no wrong answers. We're just trying to learn more about you. But we do have you pick a number, and this week we're down to between 1 and 19. So we'll do 3 of these. What do you got?
I'll pick 1.
1. Favorite professional team?
The Chicago White Sox.
Thank you. We can be friends. You're maybe not so much with Kyle, but I knew you were. A lot of the region guys, you never know. Cubs, White Sox, maybe even have 2 Tigers fans once in a while sprinkled in. But it's nice to hear that once in a while. All right, between 2 and 19, rather.
2.
Your number. All right. Besides the World Series, favorite marquee of sporting event or playoff format?
I don't know. The Super Bowl is pretty fun to watch. Having all the people over and all the guys hanging out, people screaming. That's a pretty
Sure.
fun atmosphere. So
And the last couple of games have been pretty exciting as well, with the Chiefs winning both of them. I thought you might say what's happening this week, and considering we're in the state of basketball.
oh yeah,
And
Purdue
it is-
basketball.
It is March Madness
Yep.
week, and the holiday for many that is Thursday and Friday. But can't go wrong with the Super Bowl either. And these are your answers. All right,
You
last
said
one.
there was no wrong answer.
I know, that's true. I thought for sure that I was throwing the softball that he might hit 500 feet. It's his choice between 3 and 19.
I'll go with 12.
12. Favorite food or meal?
Ooh, Panda Express, double orange chicken and
All right.
fried rice.
Very specific there.
There you go.
That sounds pretty good right about now.
All right. Any players, any teammates that we haven't mentioned on the show you feel like deserve accolades this week? I mean, there were a lot, right, this weekend. It's hard to pin down everybody.
Yeah, I mean Joe Stevens really
Yeah.
had a great weekend, great 10 days, or how many days. Yeah, that kid just grinds every day. You see him at the cages, Luke Gaffney at the cages every day. I mean, these guys just love to be out there and love being at Alexander and love just putting on a show for our fans. So,
Thanks, Todd.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, best of luck this week and this weekend with Iowa coming to Alexander Field. All right, that'll do it for the show for this week. Back again, of course, next week. Thanks to Ty Gill, Greg Goff, obviously, Ben Turner, I'm Kyle Charters. This is This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Company.